The UFC just dropped an insane amount of pretty good fights, in my opinion, with some crazy matchmaking, to be honest. Some good, some terrible. But I figure I'd go through, I may be a little bit late, but I'd still want to cover these fights, give maybe my early predictions, talk about what it might do for the division, whether I agree with it or don't. Um, yeah, as you can see right here on the screen, we can start with Volkanovski Lopes 2. Now, objectively, this is a good fight. This will be a good fight. Probably a retirement fight for Volk. It's in Australia. It's a fight that doesn't really make sense that he still could win. So I see him wanting to go out on a win. Lopez looked good against Gene Silva, very good against him. So I mean, it makes sense. Like he's bounced back. Um, so retirement for him. I'm not gonna give an early prediction because I really don't know at this point. It probably will go the same way. Who knows? Maybe Lopez is doing a bit better now after that loss. Maybe when he knocks down Volk, he puts a lot more damage on him. We don't know. But this shakes up the division a little bit because what do we do with Lerone Murphy and Movsar Evloev? I saw Aljamain trying to throw his name in there. You're not going there, little bro. Um, yeah, Movsar Evloev, he's on, what, a 9-0 in the UFC undefeated streak, but it's all by unanimous decision, which shows that he's good at beating people, but not entertaining, finishing. And Lerone's nothing much either. Granted, he had a few good ones on the come up, but not the type of run that Evloev's gone on. And his most recent one was over a Bellator guy who we've seen Bellator guys aren't like right there with the UFC guys. Usually they're a few levels below. Patchy Mix, Michael Chandler, some of those names coming to mind. But yeah, his resume wasn't the strongest. Advocating for a title shot. It was a good finish over Aaron Pico, a spinning back elbow, but it just wasn't enough to cement it. And I think Volk did say he wanted Evloev or Murphy, but I think the UFC saw that both of those guys were pretty unmarketable. They're not really big names. They're not super entertaining on average. And they could justify the Lopez shot because he had a really close fight with Volk, and he looked really good against Gene Silva getting the finish. So yeah, that leaves Lerone and Movsar kind of out of the title picture for now, and they're actually going at it on Twitter with Evloev talking kind of crazy, and Murphy's pulling up receipts showing an unconscious Movsar Evloev here back in 2021, maybe sometime during then, maybe a little bit before. But yeah, it's getting pretty dirty. The UFC would be stupid not to book this fight. This would be like them missing out on Lopez Rodriguez. I think they should make this for number one contender for whoever wins. Volk versus Lopez too. I guess win or lose, Alex is probably gonna retire, so we'll see. But yeah, this is pretty good for a number one contender matchup between these two gentlemen to see which one is really more deserving of the title shot. This doesn't really make sense. It's kind of disgraceful to the division and what they've worked on, but it's a fun fight. It's a feel good moment for Volk. It's an entertaining fight to go out. Like if Evloev came in and stunk it up for 5 rounds, it would be a terrible retirement. So I'm glad that they have a good retirement idea of a fight. And while it does shaft some guys in the other division, it seems like there's already bad blood there before. So I'm excited to see what matchup comes out of that. But we'll move on to the 155 division. Ilia Topuria says he's taking significant amount of time off. Probably won't come back until March of 2026. He's having some divorce problems. I know his ex-wife is trying to look for, I think, 50% of his assets and majority custody of the kids. So very unfortunate there. But yeah, it's going to take some time off. And LOL Arman Sarukian. I don't understand this Gaethje versus Pimblett. I think it's because with Ilya out, they couldn't do Ilya Pimblett, and they didn't want Gaethje to just retire. And if Arman was next in line to fight Ilya, they would have to wait, and this is the only way that works. If they wait, that satisfies these two guys. Arman is kind of given the short stick, but he's probably the least of the UFC's concerns. Because you got Topuria, who's an active champ. He's a name. He pulls. You got Gaethje, the human highlight reel, who wants to retire if he doesn't get a title shot. So you got to appease him somehow. And then you got Paddy Pimblett. Not someone deserving, but definitely someone they've tried to fast track to a title. They still have full steam ahead behind the Paddy Pimblett train. He's come a long way since his debut. He's looked a lot better since his earlier fights, despite his past 3 fights, them all having losing streaks. But regardless, I don't know what 155 is going to have going on. I mean, probably Arman versus the winner of this if Topuria doesn't come back in time. Arman did skew the lightweight division, so I don't really feel bad for him, despite finally getting in there after almost 2 years out and beating a Dan Hooker. he did this to himself by ruining everything on a day's notice, and Islam leaving the division without satisfying. Like it's a whole cluster fuck of things, but this is still a good fight nonetheless. I'm probably gonna go with Patty to get it done. Gaethje's pretty beat up. I could see him landing clean shots on Patty, but Patty's probably got the submission game. And he can strike on the feet with Gaethje too, and he can put some power on him. And he does hit hard. We saw that against Chandler. Like, he can hit hard, especially when he mixes it up with the kicks and the punches. But yeah, this is still a pretty entertaining interim lightweight championship. But I'm more excited to see what happens after this in terms of when Ilya comes back, what we have for Arman, and what the winner of this fight wants in that picture. But yeah, not a terrible idea. We'll move on to the other bout. There's a lot of bouts here. I'm not going to cover all of them, like Grasso Namajunas, Kayla Harrison versus Pena. We're not talking about that. But Allen versus Silva. Gene Silva looking to get back in there with his boneless attempt at some hair. I can see Gene winning this. He's probably even more hungry after going against Lopes. He'll probably still be chaotic in there, but I'm sure he'll be a little bit more controlled because he realized that just, going for it against guys who are calculated doesn't always work out well. And I think Allen's pretty calculated, but I think Silva can put some damage on him and get him out of there. I really want Allen to win. I'm not a huge fan of Silva. His fighting style is cool, but he's annoying, and his online persona is kind of annoying. And Allen's, granted, not the most entertaining guy, but he's pretty humble. He's an entertaining fighter. He has niche little jokes that people don't pick up on that are, like, actually funny if you got to know him, like, as a fighter and didn't just, like, see him as what he is. But I'm glazing. I like Arnold Allen, but I just don't think he's the physicality, the durability to win this one. I could see Silva getting like a round 1, round 2 TKO. Yeah, and then what did I have here on the last tab? Oh yeah, UFC Brazil. This admin is getting fired, crucified. Just Dana's bright pink right now, just calling him a goof. I don't read I can't read Portuguese. I can't speak it. But I think I can read pictures pretty well. Charles Oliveira versus Max Holloway for the BMF belt. Absolute cinema. I don't know how to feel about this. I mean, I'm sure with this win, both men will be like, let me get another title shot. Or if they get one more win after that, they're like, let me get one and done. I mean, Oliveira, I thought he'd be done after the Ilya one. But after that Gamrot win, he's very motivated, I feel. Holloway looked good in his last fight. I feel like such a casual for not being able to remember it. Oh yeah, Poirier. Holloway looked good in the Poirier retirement fight. Put it on him over 5 rounds. Decisive victory. Beat Poirier up in his retirement fight. It was sad, but it was a good showing by Max. This is an entertaining fight. This is a rematch. The first one ended with Charles Oliveira having a tear in his trachea, somewhere in his throat. He had a tear that he couldn't breathe correctly, so he stopped the fight there. But yeah, this is really entertaining. I don't have a pick for this one yet. Overall, though, great list of fights announced. Obviously, they weren't, the things that made the most sense in the division, but when would the UFC ever do that? They're still entertaining fights nonetheless, and I'm very excited to see how the divisions play out, how they shift and match. 170's kind of a toss-up right now with Ali Abdelaziz glazing Usman, even though he's 1-3 in his last 4. I don't care if he's an established champ. He hasn't looked good. 155 is a bit of a toss-up with Ilya's inactivity. Yeah, the UFC's in a strange place right now. For better or for worse, I don't know. But again, super good cards. Let me know what you think of the matchups. If you have any early predictions, any video ideas, leave in the comments below. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank y'all so much for watching. Sorry, this week's been very busy. I'm sure kids my age will understand college during the winter season with all those things wrapping up. So it's a lot of time. But yeah, let me know if you have any other different picks in the comments, and see you.